It's not tubes, because I fucking hate tube amps. Welcome to Two Shots and a Royalty Check, brought to you by Venmo, Your Money, Your Move, and Liquid Death, Murder Your Thirst. Let's get back into it. It's too much time with Steve Crenshaw and like having to go and like find some goddamn German vacuum tube in Breckenridge so we can play a gig.
It's true.
Why don't you just get a fucking amp? He's like, because you got to drive these, got to drive the tubes.
I still maintain that the only reason that I'm able to solve just about any reason on any problem on a stage is because I had to tour through Nebraska in the 90s.
Yeah.
Getting stuck in like year 2000, between the year 2000 and 2002, the internet wasn't as ubiquitous as it is now in small towns. You didn't have it on your phone. You had to find a wireless point to connect to with your giant, stupid Vio laptop. If you want to, and there wasn't tutorials all over the place. There might have been a GeoCities site where some, nerd had, and I'm a nerd, please do not at me, had written down the specs of the specific thing you were doing. But like, I had to figure out how to like fix, power cables in the middle of the night. I had to rewire amps. I had to, replace, pickups, and I had spares of everything. By the end of that tour, I had a rolling case full of crap and parts, speakers, tubes, fuses, anything that could blow up or go wrong. I had 3 wirelesses because you get electrocuted enough times on stage from bad power. You find a way to not be connected to that bad power.
Totally. This is when I was still in the. It was kind of before I was able to use acoustic electrics.
Yeah.
And because they weren't. I mean, you had your Washburns or your Ovations, and
yeah.
But like for the guitars I wanted to play, I had to put in the LR bags.
Oh, the bag system.
Yeah. Or was it LR? It was something. It was bags.
LR bags. That's right.
Yeah.
That's the right name. That's the right
but
name.
like all those kind of pickups in the F hole, and you forget that you didn't have the cover in it.
Yeah.
So it was just whoa. Yeah. And if and singing, like that was meant for like a guitarist just to sit down. But if you were like singing full power, your chest is resonating against the acoustic guitar. The strings are resonating, and the microphone is just like, I can't wait to electrocute you. Oh, this is going to be so fun.
The last time I was zapped was I was playing through a really old amp. I was on tour, and, we were getting backline. We were flying places. We were getting backline gear, and I travel with my wireless mic and a wireless mic guitar for obvious reasons. I was a dumbass and did not charge anything, and I didn't have any batteries, and I was cabled to a wired microphone, and I went to play the intro riff, and I'm supposed to sing the chorus, and I hit the microphone and just go, and my eyes roll back in my head, and my white hair's smoking, and the guys in the band kind of look at me like, not aware that that's what had happened, and be like, dude, you totally fucking missed that entrance.
You missed the note, dude.
You missed the entrance. I can't believe you missed that solo. So we've had a woodpecker show up. I looked out my window. We have a tiny little almost like the porthole on a ship window in our room, and I opened the window, and outside in the tree, there's probably about 75 birds, little porky things, just sitting staring at me like that. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Close the door, go back in, start working on my computer. All of a sudden, I hear, grrr. Fuck is that? Grrr. Fuck is that? And I go open the window, nothing there. Then I hear, grrr. I'm like, what the fuck? I go out, and there's 3 of them, and they are just down the side of my house, just brr, 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 and they're all taking turns.
Slight flex. I live in the penthouse, right? Top floor. And as awesome as that is, after have lived in so many apartments under people, although many of my apartments were on the 3rd floor of a walk up, and I was on the top.
Nice.
I've lived. By the way, this is an interesting thing. I've lived in 301, in 4 different places.
Oh wow, it's your number.
Isn't that weird?
Do you pay attention to numerology and that kind of stuff? You
I mean, to a certain extent. like
Sammy
a little
Hagar's
bit?
apparently really into it. I heard that in his book.
Well, then we should be, because he's doing whatever it is he's doing. I want 2 of those.
Yeah, and he seems like really
Marry a
happy.
blonde, drink on the beach, live in Mexico. Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Except for the whole wrangling cartel shit. That sounds awful.
Dude. Okay. I've been at that border. Okay.
Yeah.
So Brownsville, Mission, down in South Texas. The truth about the border, and most people, and I'm not going to get political here, but I'm going to get political. The truth about it is that Mexicans and Americans go over that border all the fuck day long. Mexicans come over and they're working or they're going to school. Americans go over, they buy their tortillas, they get their teeth fixed. Like, it is all day long over that border. Like when you're driving through there in South Texas, Brownsville, Reynosa, and on the other side is Reynosa. And when you go over, you see the cartel parked in fucking tanks, like right as you cross the bridge. They're right there. How you doing? And I don't know any cartel members, okay? But I've spoken to people who have been part of that. And you talk to the Mexicans that are from there too. God, it just sounds horrible when you say Mexicans because everyone's made it so pejorative. But like when I say Mexicans, I mean strong,
People from
happy,
Mexico.
national Mexico people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the Mexicans will tell you that like, the cartel's a problem. But they're not a problem for the Americans coming over because basically they want that going back and forth. That's how money is made. That's how it's a nice little exchange that everybody does.
Yeah.
Cartels aren't stupid. They don't just kill Americans. They don't just kill people out of the clear blue. There's no fucking reason to pull people out of a car during the daytime. I guarantee we don't have the full story of this. Will fight with each other. They'll take out Mexicans. They'll kill journalists. They'll kill politicians because that's kind of what they do, like any gang. But it is not in their best interest to kill American tourists or any tourists. And by the way, Americans all think that all the tourists in Mexico are Americans. Like almost every time I've been to Mexico, we are outnumbered as Americans by Canadians, by Dutch, by like Europeans, and by the way, by Mexican tourists.
Yeah.
Like people that, like Mexican people in resorts love to make fun of I can't remember what they call them, but I probably shouldn't say it even if I could. But they make fun of the people who come from inland Mexico to the resorts because they come in like Floridians. They've got black socks up to their calves. They got a camera around their neck.
Yeah.
And they're like on vacation, and they're taking pictures of everything like a horrible American would.
Let me ask you this question. Anytime you've been on vacation and you've taken a fuckload of photographs, how often do you review those photos and look at them and go, oh, remember how great that time was?
Oh, well, we have a few up in our house.
Yeah,
like
that's different.
I take them and I put them up, but
yeah,
not enough, not nearly enough.
I don't
like ever
do that
maybe.
much. I mean, I will do the whole obligatory. I'm building an audience on social media, so I mean, Katie and I went to a music festival last year, and I got to see Sparks, and it made me really happy, and I documented the fuck out of that on Instagram. But for me personally, I would much rather, I like the memory of it. And if I ever go bananas crazy or end up with dementia or something like that, and I can't remember that stuff, I won't care because I can't remember that stuff.
I don't post most of my personal trips on social media. Like I don't want people to know the spots I go to.
That's fair.
And it's not even because I'm that famous. It's
if
just
you'd like
that,
to subscribe to my blog, I will tell you all the places he goes.
Yeah, maybe I should put it on our Patreon.
Patreon. OnlyFans.
Yeah,
me in
my
Mexico.
OnlyFans. This is me where I go in Canada. But I don't like I only tell, especially if I go to like LA for business. No one knows but the people I'm meeting.
Yeah.
I won't even do that. I'm having a beer at the airport thing and show LAX or whatever. I won't, because I just don't want to. I don't know why. I guess I don't know why. I mean, I don't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to disappoint other people. You know, because of the traveling and touring and all that, you end up starting to know a lot of people around places, even international places that I've been to a few times. They may know me as Chuck Norris. I don't know why, but like there's certain areas in Mexico where they're like, "Hey, Chuck Norris." Like, I have no idea why you say that. Don't look like him at all. But okay.
Yeah, but you got a hell of a roundhouse, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I must have knocked someone out at a bar once, and they're like, "Yeah, that's that guy."
I'm a musician. My vacations are tours.
That's right. My vacation is my day in between the next day.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, you know, that's how many I've been to. I think I've been to every single state except for Alaska and Hawaii. Those don't count, right?
No, those are not contiguous.
Yeah, so like I haven't been there, but you know, on tour, but I've been everywhere else. And it's like, oh, that's really cool. What did you think of this place? It's like, don't know. Saw the hotel, saw the green room. You know,
totally.
You know, and then saw the stage, and that was it. You know, you know, it's not the same. I had a couple of tour managers that oh my God, master routers. If you're hiring a tour manager, one magical word. My friend Morgan said that she was like, routing. They're like, what would you like us to do for you? She's like, routing. They're like, anything special? Routing. It matters. Like how you get where you're going and how you get there, and you set up your tentpole gigs and you know, book around that kind of stuff. But how you get there and the amount of time you have to get there and the amount of time you have to be in a place matters. Yes. Especially if you're you know, type of person that likes to, you know, go out and see the town, you know, which I do. I want to go out and, you know, wander around and find the world's greatest cup of coffee. Congratulations, you did it. You know, it's
the biggest ball of string.
Yeah,
love those.
What's it in Blue Earth, Minnesota? There is a giant statue of the Green Giant in the middle of a field somewhere. And I was touring, and I was like, and you know, I'm driving the van, and I go, everybody else in the van's asleep, as you do. Yeah. So I'm driving, I take a bite off my Slim Jim, hammer back a slug of Mountain Dew, and I go visit the giant Jolly Green Giant, or Blue Sky or Blue Earth, somewhere in like some blue something in Minnesota. And I'm standing outside the van, and all like bleary-eyed, bed-headed, tight-panted musicians pour out of the door. Like, what are we doing here? And I'm just standing underneath this thing, staring up at it. Like, I wanted to go see the Jolly Green Giant, and I fucking did. But that was right. the thing about like when you have a tour routed well, you know, like, okay, we're gonna be in Manhattan. We've got one show. We have 3 days here. Hotel is paid for. Dinner will be we covered. You got your per diem. Go fucking see the city. Go to the theater on the night after. I don't care. Do something. This is the place to do that. You know, we've taken a day off in the city. It's going to be expensive, but it's going to be worth it. You're going to enjoy it. And that was that's a part of the thing I think that, you know, sometimes gets lost, you know, when you're stuck in oh yeah, you could do these guys can totally sleep on the bus. We don't need to worry about hotels. It's like, no. It fucking matters. It really does for the human experience of being on tour.
It really does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved when we were first going really hard on touring, I didn't like to go out during the day.
Well, like you were also a musician. You didn't like to get up when the sun was up.
Yeah. Well, like when we were going hard, that was still in the time when you could do morning shows and you had like a tower radio record afternoon and radio stuff when you had to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would do the morning show at the local affiliate on TV, and they would be like, "Oh, why don't you play us a song?" It's like 6:30 in the fucking morning.
Yeah.
You know.
And your voice is like 3 octaves lower. It's
asleep.
Like Tom Waits covers is pretty much what you're getting at this point.
And then we had to, you know, drop by the college radio station or whatever, and then like a in-store at Tower Records for 4 people. And, you know, and what was awesome at that time is that like even you would do that, and you had some fans there, but like they're working. Like they can't take, they may love your band, but they're not taking off work for it.
Yeah.
But But then if you're in one, all the people that are there are like, ooh, there's a band here.
Yeah.
They must be big. They put up the banner. They're selling records.
Yeah.
And so it turned into a thing.
Yeah.
And like they didn't know who the fuck we were.
Yeah.
But like later on, that's when I was like, this isn't a way to live, is just seeing the inside of a motel or a hotel room. Mm-hmm. And so I would try to book things to where I could go. Yeah. When I went out on my own a lot, I would definitely go and see everything.
Way
I could.
easier when you're a solo artist.
Yeah.
Way easier.
Yeah, because it's hard to get roadies in the band and kick whoever's out sleeping there. It's hard.
You got
to
a crew. You're
going.
paying that crew for that day off.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and the thing is that that's meant for when you're eating. Like we're all going to eat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and then bass player's like, well, let's smoke some dope. Okay, I just want to go see the world's biggest can of butter.
Yeah. I want to go see the butter cow.
Totally.
I have a question about like, you probably know this better than me. I know that I have a list of non-reporting and reporting radio stations throughout the United States. I'm not seeing as many college radio stations on those lists anymore. Is that a fact, or am I just missing a sheet on my Excel spreadsheet that needs to say that?
Well, I think a lot of them, so most of them are non-com, non-commercial, and they're part of that non-com association. But those are normally sort of more like community radio stations.
Gotcha.
Now. So from the college standpoint, the ones that I've talked to recently, they're just playlisting. You know? I mean, there's still some good college radio stations. There's one in Abilene that like is still trying to like make shit happen and find bands and do all of it. But like the support from this is my understanding, and I don't know completely, but the support of listening to college radio changed, where kids that get to college, one of the reasons why college radio was so awesome is you get to college and you would only have like your CD pack or whatever with you. Yeah. But like to hear new music or hear new shit, you would kind of support the local college radio station and listen to them.
Yeah.
But now you have all the world's music on your phone.
Yeah.
There's really no reason to listen to the college radio station, and most people don't have a radio, and so like a lot of them didn't move to apps quick enough to where you could just get it on your phone. Yeah, because it's a cost, and the radio stations. I was on the radio station when I was in college, and it was as cheap as you could. I had to pay for my own FCC license. And like, but I mean that's the gig. Everyone does that. Like. That's what college radio was about. You'd bring in your own records. Mm-hmm. You bring in your own, tapes or CDs or whatever.
Yeah, keep track of what you're playing.
Yeah, and then do your cue sheets and your FCC crap and slip in a cuss word.
Yeah, of course.
See if they'll find you because they give you some publicity.
Blank a doodle do. To quote Howard Stern.
But I don't know if there's still the college. Like there was we did a big push into college with a College Music Alliance. And I don't know if that still exists anymore. I think you're right. It may not.
Wasn't there there was like
NACA. There was NACA,
that's what I was
which is
bring
more
for live performance.
Did you ever do those auditions?
Oh yeah. We did those. A bunch in a few different projects I was in. But so I have a follow-up question from the man in the back with the silver hair.
Yes, man in the back with the silver hair.
Yes. I've noticed that we're both talking into the same microphone. Go sure.
Sure.
I get this question from artists I'm working with. I work with a lot of people doing release campaigns and building plans for their music career. And one of the things I always get is I want to be on the radio. And I understand the joy of hearing your song on the radio when you're in the car. But who the fuck is listening to the radio anymore? And is it worth it for a new artist to pursue, a new unsigned artist, new independent artist, to pursue plays on terrestrial radio?
So there's two answers to that. One,
of course there is.
Is it worth it? I'll go to that first.
Yeah.
No. Like, it's not worth it. You're not going to make money. You're not going to get more streams.
Yeah.
You're not going to sell anything more. However, it is worth it to try
Yeah.
if you have enough of a national profile. So it's kind of it's a nuanced answer. If you aren't huge in your local scene, you should not go after radio.
Yeah.
Because that is the first place where you're going to do it. You will find the genre that you're in or whatever, and you can see, there can be a DJ or a program director that will see that you're blowing up a little bit, and they will help you on like a local show. A lot of times those are like Sunday nights. They'll help you like get a little spin on a local show.
Yeah.
But being on the radio but let me answer the first question. Who's listening? A fuckload of people. We've like seen a bunch of recent data that is like 70% of music listeners still listen to the radio.
Wow.
To
That's
music,
a bigger
by the
number
way.
than I expected.
Yeah, and it used to be that it was trending towards radio used to prop itself up by saying, look at all these people listening to the radio. But it was really sports talk, religion, and politics.
Aha.
And that's all on the radio, that's for sure. But we've just seen recent Chris Kay and I were just talking about this, but we've just seen some like recent data that's like that shows that there's a lot of people still listening to the radio in their cars, at work, all of that sort of thing. However, I think that so I did a lot of stuff with Arbitron back in the day, which was like a radio intermediary. And they can fudge the numbers however they want because there is no reporting on radio listenership other than audience segmentation and audience survey. And so if I were to like go to a company, you would go to like a marketing company and you would ask them, so like you're a radio station, you're like, how many people listen to my show, to my radio station? And how do we, they have to do their advertising book based on that.
Yeah.
The only way to get that number, because you can't measure off the air, the only way to get that number is to call people and say, do you listen to this station, this station, this station? How many hours do you listen to this?
Yeah.
Well, as you know, every survey is kind of bullshit. Almost every marketing survey is bullshit. And I can tell you, as someone that ran one of those, managed one of those companies, you can find who you want.
Yeah.
If you need to find 40 people between ages 30 and 35 that make $70,000 to $80,000 a year who are female that have eaten at Arby's in the last 2 weeks, I can find them for you.
Yeah.
But if you call 1,000 people and you find out that none of them have eaten at Arby's, that the client will not like that, right? So you got to find those people. And it was the same thing with radio. So you would find these people and be like, are you sure you didn't listen to 95.5 KHOT 2 hours this week? Because it
That's
seems
a
like
little
you
too
did.
specific for that not to be a real radio station.
It's my fake radio station. 95.5 KHOT. K-Hot. Only the hottest hits of the day.
Hottest shits of the day?
95.5 FM.
That sounds like a monster truck rally right there. You bought the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. That was actually one of the first voiceovers I ever did, was a monster truck commercial.
Fuck yeah. You did monster truck.
Adults $20, kids for free. But here was the thing. I didn't know. I was so young. I didn't know how it worked. So I was doing the echoes myself.
Excellent.
So I literally did this. I literally did. Kids are free. And the guy's like, you don't need to do that. We're going to go ahead and.
We have a button.
Yeah.
It just says nope right on it.
But so I think that radio is. Look, anyone that you talk to in radio will tell you that it's still important. And I think that it can still be important. The other thing that you should know is that radio is a hybrid now. So like iHeart will count the people listening to iHeartRadio app as listening to the radio.
And on their site and all that stuff.
And that's not true. you know?
Yeah.
And I think that globally, radio is a much different story than it is, like, say, in Northern Europe or in America, in most major cities in America. But, like, if you go to, 50 and under cities, the top 50 and under cities, like sort of smaller regional cities, radio's still very big. And depending on the genre, it can still be a very big deal. But that doesn't mean that it's worth it for an independent artist to spend. Like, I can tell you, like, okay, so there was somebody that was talking about this a few months ago that said, how much does it cost to service like a hip hop song? Like, let's just say a good genre. You can call it pop or hip hop, hot AC, one of the major radio genres.
Yeah.
And it's $100,000 a single.
Yeah.
That's how much it costs.
Yeah.
So if you have $100,000 and you're an independent artist, there are 1,000 different ways to spend that in a better fashion.
Yes. I agree.
But if you are planning, so the reason why radio really works is because if you're servicing multiple radio, okay, this is another big thing to understand. The difference between being on the radio and being a radio artist is massive. You can get spins. I can get you spins all over the country on a bunch of different specialty shows, maybe even breaking into some of the lineup lists.
Yeah.
But the difference between a spin, which means your song got played once at 2:32 in the afternoon, okay? That's a spin.
Yeah.
You can, and what you're doing is going for ads. And an ad means that you're added to the playlist of the radio station, the approved playlist, and there are so many slots in that playlist that the program director tells the DJs. I mean, now it's all automatic. I mean, most of the radio playlists are already there. The DJs just say their bit, but the music's already loaded in. They're not even loading in carts or anything.
Yeah.
But so radio only works if you're added to rotation. And that means you're going to be played 8 times a day, maybe. If you got a hot song, 8 times a day is a lot. That's like every 2 hours during the big day.
During the,
Like, there's no fucking way you're going to get that, probably. Yeah. And so how do you delineate if you're a program? You got to think about it. I think you got to think about a lot of the music industry this way, is like, how do you delineate like why a radio station would play you? I mean, is your music better than every other song out there? Probably not. Even if it's great, it's not better than a major artist or major label, something that's coming out. So even at that level, between labels, right? You can have a label servicing radio for 16 artists on Sony.
Yeah.
And so why would they play this song over that one?
Yeah.
One of the reasons is because that one is going to be touring nationally. And that means all of the stations that play it will have the opportunity to do a ticket giveaway as part of an advertising buy from the label that says, we're going to spend $20,000 with you. We're also going to block out 50 tickets for you to give away. We're going to give 10 of them to your station for your marketing, salespeople, DJs, program director. We're going to have a meet and greet that's going to have your banner behind it that says 95.5 KHOT. We're going to have all that shit with the artist. You're going to meet the artist. Some of these stations, if they're in major markets, the artist is going to call in the morning or come to the station to promote the show. Like, as an independent artist, you're not doing that. You're not going to be touring the country, and you don't know if you are or not, right? Because you think you're going to get on the radio to get a hit to go on tour.
Yeah.
They are planning the tour, and therefore that's why they're spending the $100,000 on radio servicing. So it's not worth it for independent artists mostly, but I would say if you can find specialty shows in your genre, say you're, if you're in like rebel country, or if you're in like techno, or if you're maybe Americana or acoustic stuff, those people love finding independent artists.
Yes.
And so try to service them, try to look how you service them. But I will tell you, so we did multiple radio campaigns, and here's why you shouldn't do it. If it works, you're fucked. This is why. We serviced something like, I think it was something like 200 stations nationally. We got a massive hit in Maine.
Now
Maine.
you gotta go to fucking Maine.
We got added in Maine.
Wow.
And we got added in Texas and Arizona. That's fine. We toured the western part of the country anyway. But we have no fucking shows between here and Maine.
Yep.
We could sell out 2,000 seater in Maine. There was no way we were going to be able to get there. It would have taken 5 days to get there and back.
Yeah.
And it's worthless. And like
routing.
We got a huge thing there. And so like, unless you know that you're playing nationally, like making a big push into radio, I think the more I tell that story to bands, they that's when you really see it. When you're like, oh yeah, that's the problem. Is if it works, you can't really back it up. Like you can't. And then that station is like, oh, they're not coming in. They're not going to call us. They'll never be here. Yeah. Why are we keeping playing the song? Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're out. But the thing to keep in mind, and then I'll shut up because I want to ask you about something on this, is that if you plan on being huge, right? If you plan on doing a national push ever, it is worth maybe $500 to find out about how BDS works. There are different ways that you can pitch to radio now, but pitch them to let them know who you are, because radio is a complete relationship business. And don't say I want to get added. Don't say I want spins. Just say, hey, I want the program director and this DJ to know we have this record out. This music is just for you. You don't need to play it. Yeah. But like, as we build, I'm coming back to you, and we'll do a station ID if you ever want us to. Yeah. That's the way we started out doing, is that we did, I don't know, something like 500 station IDs, and then sent that to those program directors and said, we don't expect you to play it. We just want to introduce ourselves. Yeah. And then by your third album, they know who you are. Yeah. You know, and so if you're getting that far, but you're not going to make money on it.
And that's the question is, what is your goal? What do you want to do? What are you trying to do? Yeah. Are you trying to, I mean, if you're, in the business of just making art to make art, this is probably not the route for you. No. At all. No. And it really depends on your goals and defining that, what does this look like in 1 year? What does this look like in 3 years? What does it look like in 5? What does it look like in 10? How do you want it to go? And not gee whiz, guys, it'd be really cool if we, that's not what I'm talking about, because everybody's like, gee whiz, it'd be really great if we could. Because once you decide that you're going to go a certain direction, you have to figure out how to build it. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just a gee whiz.
Well, and not only that, but I mean, I think any label that does this stuff at a big level will tell you that it's not the first go round or the second go round, it's the third go round. And if you don't have enough support, money, time, content, or even whatever it is. Yeah.
Or even like material,
Yeah. If that's not in your plan, if you're going to be like, well, let's just see how this goes and then we'll build from there. And I talk to a lot of bands and artists that are that way. Like, hey, I'm just trying to build a following and go as big as I can. I'm like, you do not want to go as big as you can. Like, you can't support it. Yeah. Like, it is, and I mean, I know everyone's heard this before, but big fish in a small pond is the way to go. And I don't think this has ever changed, where any major label would tell you, if you can't blow up in your home city, we're not interested. Yeah. Like, we're not interested, like, at all. And like, there's no reason, if you can't do the groundwork on your own within 200 miles, sell out clubs on Polestar, actual receipts, where the booking agents know how much you can sell. Yeah. Get on a little local radio station a little bit, get a little local press coverage. All of that should be absolutely kind of free for you if you blow up in your own town. Yeah. But like, if you don't think that if you live in a town or you live in a state that has 2 million, 3 million people, and you can't pull 2,000 people in your hometown, like, why would anyone invest in you? And so I think this goes to almost everything in the music industry. I say this all the time. It's not about you or your music. It's about what kind of partnerships you can create. Like, it's about how you can make them money, how they can make you money. It's very symbiotic. Why are you playing that theater? Because you're going to sell it out and sell drinks.
You're going to make them money. They're going to make you money.
Yeah. And it's the same with radio. Why would someone listen to the morning show for a 5-minute phoner interview with a band that nobody fucking knows?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I might play that song, but like you're not going to blow up until people kind of know you. And I know that's horrible, but you got to kind of get a little bit of juice first before you go big.
Yeah. Well, it's understanding that relationship too, and you're on point with the fact that it's a relationship. I've asked a few artists like, I want to play this venue. I'll get asked. I want to play this venue. Okay. What is the venue there to do? Oh, the venue's there to discover new music. That is wrong. The venue is there to make money. If you can find a way to make them money, you'll book a show there.
Yeah,
Simple as that.
And don't look at that as anti-creative.
No, it's not.
Like that means that your music has worth, your live show has worth.
Yeah.
And by the way, you can make that happen without record sales if you have a great live performance show.
Agreed.
Guar can book tours.
Yeah.
And you'll never hear them on the radio. You won't see big streaming numbers. Some of their fans may have bought. I don't know. Are they even doing it anymore? But I mean,
I think they're still, even though.
If you're doing that big of a show, they know that people are going to, that's the only place you can see that shit.
Yeah.
And so it's not necessarily about the worth of your music. It's about the worth of each thing that you're doing. Is your recording great and like it's a hit song that would grab a bunch of people? Maybe radio is a good thing for you, or spend a bunch of your money trying to get more streams. If you're a visual band, make sure that live show is killer and that people have to pay $20 to go see it.
Yeah. And then you get something like the Black Parade and you get both.
Yes.
That's the second time in this podcast we brought up how great the Black Parade is. An amazing record. And all credit goes to, that band and Gerard Way, because look at Umbrella Academy. That guy is a fucking artist. Yeah. He's just creating like, oh, I want to do this now, I want to do this, I want to do that. I just love it. But like, I remember seeing that tour, and it was, I think it was right around the time Panic at the Disco was kind of doing similar things with their stage show. It was real theatrical, and it was real dark, and there was a lot of moving pieces. It's like seeing Muse now. There's a full on, it's an experience. That's what I want when I go see a show. Anyway. Yeah, not everyone does. What's weird is I remember seeing Mike Chem on that tour. Mm-hmm. I'm a huge Mike Chem fan. Me too.
From way back. And I saw that tour, and then they killed Black Parade. Yeah. And they put out the next thing, which was like sort of Japanimation, comic booky, bright colors, all of that sort of thing. And I think we ended up seeing them at, it went from like a massive thing at like the big arena, 20,000 seater, to the Paramount, which was like 2,000 seats, with neon trees.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it sucked because they did not want to play anything. Like they didn't play Helena, they didn't play Black Parade. They wanted, it was like one of those. This is our new identity. We're all like, not feeling it, man. Yeah. And that's basically what broke them up.
I will say this. I am for bands trying shit. Yeah. I think that Saint Anger by Metallica is not a great record, but I'm glad that Metallica is still trying shit.
Absolutely. I mean, they have a new album out. A new real album that's
fucking thunderous. I love it.
Crazy good. Yeah. They're doing TikToks.
Yeah. And they're just doing stuff, man. I love that. Who would have thought this thrash metal, this anti-establishment thrash metal band from the Bay Area would be this fucking arena titan. Yeah. In the 2020s. I mean, fuck yes. And I don't know how they're still doing it
so many times.
like there's like, how the fuck is James Hetfield still playing that? Lars is kind of playing it. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I know we all like to make
it's a
fun
little
of drummers,
jab for Metallica fans.
but the fact that, like they're still doing it, and still Kirk is still doing that shit. James has still got a right hand of the gods. That's what she said.
And singing it. How the fuck do you sing that?
Yes. I'm floored that some of these metal bands with the real aggressive shit are able to do it as long as they are. Yeah. 'Cause that's hard. Really hard.
Really, really hard.
That's also what she said.
It's probably why everybody's sober now. Well, Lars isn't, but like, there's just no way that you can go that hard and play downstrokes and sing those things.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way.
So, all kudos and all credit goes to those. I mean, the Rolling Stones, any band that has gotten to a point where they're like, if we want to keep doing this, and if you're I hesitate to use the word musician, if you're an artist and you're a musician and you want to go the distance, you have to be aware that you will have to evolve and change and move with the field that you're working in. The Stones had to figure out how to get sober. Keith Richards fucking quit smoking. I don't even know what to do with that identity now. That was part of like him.
Yeah.
A cigarette, some hello, man. Come on now. Give me some Muddy Waters and we'll go on stage in a bit. Like that was part of his identity. But in order to keep going, this thing is more important than this thing. And if I want to keep doing this, and be creative and be an artist and be on stage and feel the love of 100,000 people in the crowd, I need to get that shit sorted so that I can keep doing that thing.
Yeah.
And like those two, the Stones, Metallica, Dave Mustaine quit heroin, for fuck's sake. That's not easy.
Yeah,
there's
but
a bunch
he
of people.
sort of cheated that. I mean, if you die, it's really easy to quit something.
I'm looking at you, Nikki Sixx.
Totally.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, but it's like you have to figure out how to. If I'm going to keep doing this, I'm
kidding,
to
Dave Mustaine. I love you. Sorry.
I love Dave Mustaine too. He's a very, 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 very. He was a very lovely man. I met him a few years ago with our friend Ryan Chris, the outlaw country phenom, shall we say?
He's got cuts.
He's got the mayor of Colfax Avenue, the longest street in the United States. We were out at a William Morris party in Nashville, and on the flight out, Ryan had been reading Joe Perry's biography, and there was a whole bit about Megadeth opening for Aerosmith on tour.
Oh,
who the fuck thought that was a good idea?
Yeah.
I don't know. And so Ryan's like, I'm going to go talk to Dave and find out about the story Joe Perry told. And he fucking goes over and talks to him. And he has dude's phone number, and apparently they talk whenever, shit's going. It's just it was just a weird, like, happenstance. The dude happened to be there supporting his daughter, Electra, on her, her musical journey. And Ryan goes, I'm going to go talk to him about this Joe Perry book. And it was just, it was really interesting. But he was very kind and very, very, he was like, I'm just here to support my kid. I'm not interested in doing all the stuff. And that was the first time I'd ever seen Chris Stapleton live.
Oh.
He opened for Gary Allen at this party.
God, Chris Stapleton.
And it was amazing. Absolutely mind-blowingly good. Just Josh, our guitar playing buddy Josh Skelton, and I are standing, and everybody's drinking and socializing, stuff like that, and we're just like staring up at this bearded, glorious Sasquatch man with the voice of God, and it was absolutely astonishing. He was wonderful. When
he was slated to do the Super Bowl and do the Star Spangled Banner.
Mm-hmm.
I hate calling it a national anthem. It feels so fascist. But when he did that song, I had somebody who's like, oh, yeah, I'm sure he's going to lip sync. And I was like, you do not know Chris Stapleton.
Nope.
He will play it live. He will sing it live. And you will cry.
Yep.
And everybody was
that's
like,
what fucking happened.
Yep. I was like, I will bet you as much money as you have. He will not lip sync it. And he was, I think a lot of people are like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
And and he's such a crossover too, because he's got, he's the kind of country artist that has so much junk in his soul, so much junk in his voice that like the real ones know. Like even if you are like a huge hip hop fan, you're like, oh, that motherfucker's got it.
Yeah.
Like whatever he's doing, I'm in.
That's how I feel about Lizzo.
Yeah.
You know that's how I feel about Lizzo.
I know.
She's got... man, that woman is
so talented.
Just crushing it. Not just talented, not just just a force of nature as an artist, but she is aware of the platform she's standing on right now, and she is waving her fucking flag, and I love it. I'm here for it. Please keep doing it. You're amazing.
I read on Twitter that Lizzo's waving her flag and shaking her ass.
Excellent. My girlfriend Katie is a professional flute player, and she is like, my manifesting queen as she is like, I'm gonna fucking work with Lizzo.
Yeah,
and I was like, as well you should. I want to hear some Lizzo Katie flute duets like tomorrow. Please.
Oh my God, that would be sweet.
That'd be rad. Anyway,
yeah, that's a cool connection.
Yeah, like look at all the little girls and the young women that look up to this glorious female powerhouse, right?
Yeah.
And like I remember like band nerds. I was a band nerd. I played trombone.
I was a band nerd.
I fucking loved playing trombone, right?
We didn't use that word, but yeah, I was a band nerd.
Yeah. But
we use the F word.
Yeah. That was
bad days.
Bad days. But like I just think of like somebody just handed the power back, like said, no, this is cool. It is cool to be it's amazing to be an instrumentalist. There's some real skill that it takes to do that. And now you've got this icon representing that and being like, if I can quote Lizzo, no bitch.
Yeah.
This is fucking amazing and awesome, and I embody that too. And it's just like, I think about some kid coming up and seeing this glorious powerhouse and seeing, wow, you can do that with this?
Yeah. Yeah.
That makes me so fucking happy.
Yeah, it makes me really excited about. I mean, she's one of those artists that makes me really excited about the future of music. I remember being 12 or 13 and who my heroes were, and like a lot of that's pretty unattainable. Like when I was coming up, because it was all, she came out of left field in a lot of ways. I mean, she put in all the work and all the rest of it. Yeah. But she's not cookie cutter. She made it a little bit later. Yeah. And that single was a year and a half old before it really blew up. And so I just think that like you got to think that some of the younger people are looking at that going, yeah, anybody can make it. Like, you got to put in the work, and the talent has to be there.
Yeah, of course.
But you don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to be a keyboardist. Because like think about that. The difference between a generation further, there's like, oh fuck, I have to be Lady Gaga to make it. And now these gals are younger and looking and go, oh, I could be Lizzo and make it. I could be, you can look at some of the different heroes that you lay. It's a horrible word, but some of the people that have already kind of blown up, and you can be like, yeah, I could do that. I could see myself there.
That's a really wonderful and powerful thing for you to be able to. When I, as a bleeding heart liberal that I am, talk about representation mattering, that is, for somebody to be able to look up on the stage or up on a screen or something and see themselves in there and see the power that lies in that. Yeah. That makes me incredibly happy, and I want that for everyone.
Absolutely. I mean, and always. You can look at on the other side of things where you have someone like Sam Smith or Sam Sith.
That misspelling.
As Billboard
it was chart metric, I think is what it was.
But, someone who's, been very vocal about, their personal journey and sexuality and in their body imaging. And same thing with Ed Sheeran. It's not even about being overweight or underweight or good looking or not, but like a ginger is going to be the biggest streamed artist in the world and hold arenas with 45,000 people with just an acoustic guitar and a looper. Yeah. That's amazing.
Exactly.
It's amazing. He's not, he's not your cookie cutter sexual idol lead front man.
Yeah.
And I think that's, that is awesome to see in this kind of newer world where, and I think that has a lot to do with the culture changing as far as acceptance of people. Yeah. And of different kinds of people. Representation, as you will.
But I'm looking up something real quick.
Oh, good.
There you go. I'm trying to remember the name of the song that Sam Smith and Kim Petras put out. Our first.
Don't know.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it. But
Unholy.
Yes, thank you. We have the first trans individual
Kim Petras.
winning a Grammy.
Yeah.
Fuck yes. Like that's, again, I love the idea because, Kim, you are an attractive human. You're confusing the shit out of people everywhere, and I'm fucking here for it. I love that we're pushing these boundaries. That's something I think that should be happening in general anyway. Boundaries should be pushed. Ideas should be challenged. Question everything.
And that's what music is for. It always has been.
I agree.
It's, and yes, there's always a part of music in the music industry that is your straight and narrow, great kind of musician, your sort of Glenn Miller kind of thing. And that's worthy as well. But I mean, it is the area where artistry and your personal experience can be a part of that, and should be a part of it.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to find a tribe. You're going to find your tribe.
Yeah. Find your tribe.
And
there's some magic words.
Yeah. I think it's important. Now, whether or not that means you are able to move numbers, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But it's global now. I mean, that's the other thing, is that it's global, and you're going to find a lot of people worldwide that are like, "Hey, look at that person doing something interesting."
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, I have bogarted this conversation. You said you had a question earlier that you wanted to address to me about the radio thing, and I fucking just ran this thing into the ground.
I just want to know what your view on the radio thing is now. Like, if you have a view on it. What are you telling your clients and coaching students and stuff if they brings up?
I'm telling them pretty much the same thing you said. If you think it's something you can support nationwide, then go for it. But most of the people I'm talking to don't have the budget to do that, and they don't have the fan base to do it either. But that does not mean that they are unsuccessful.
Right.
Like, this is just like it depends on what you're trying to do. If your goal is to be a musician and keep creating great stuff and putting out great stuff, just like we just said with this thing, you will find your tribe, and they will love you, and they will support you, and just keep making it. Keep making great stuff and carry on. You don't need radio to do that.
You do not need radio to do that. And I also think there is a trend that is kind of ass backwards now, where program directors and radio stations, in some cases, they are looking for what's blowing up in streaming to add.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you do your work, getting your streams up, your YouTubes up, or whatever, then radio will come to you. Like there is a way to kind of do it like reverse engineering now. Yeah. That if you get that big, that may be something to where a local show with a DJ that actually has some input on what music, if you can make a fan out of them, then they're going to put it on the log sheet. Other program directors will see it, and that can be a way to pick up some radio. I also think that it is massively dependent on genre. So
yes, I agree.
You might think that it'd be easier to get into country radio, and it's probably, I would say it goes like this. Christian music, country radio music are the two hardest ones to get into.
Yeah.
Under that, hip hop and pop is probably the next two, and those are the two most expensive to get into. But like if you are not being serviced nationally, country is not going to pick you up. And you have to sound an exact certain way, and the right people have to have worked on it, and all of that. But I do think that I like to have this conversation in a different way that a lot of the music gurus do. There is still a pathway for you if you're older. And so if you are doing Americana or AAA music, and you are, say, an acoustic singer-songwriter with a band, it's like maybe 75 stations nationwide for that. You have a chance to do that. Same rules apply. You have to service them. Yeah, that means you got to call every week. You got to do phoners. You got to do station IDs. You got to have some touring going on. You got to have the numbers to back it up. But you can make inroads into that. Because, I mean, some of the artists that are still on there, like your Bonnie Raitt's and your Sheryl Crow's and, you know, I'm trying to, I mean, the Highwaywomen, that kind of stuff where it crosses over a little bit. And those are older people, you know, and, but, you know, that's, so you can still make it in that. But I want to caution everyone when we always talk about this is like, do not see it as an X plus Y equals Z thing. If you get a bunch of radio, you are not going to make more money. It just is not going to happen at first. Like, but you know, if you get into rotation and you become one of those songs known for that year, that's radio play forever. Like there's still those bands being played with one hit wonders. You know, still now on throwback shows are still getting some money.
I've been in a few of those.
Yeah,
bands.
Totally. Yes, absolutely. It's the 90th anniversary of this single. But, you know, it works because that song is a part of people's lives. But again, my caution to anyone. So I guess to wrap this up, my whole point of view about radio is that, is it worth doing? Yes. But is it worth it for your career trajectory? Probably not until you're ready for it, because you do not want to have success and not be ready for it, because you'll just disappoint. You just won't be able to back it up.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's probably the biggest thing.
Fantastic.
So there's radio.
There's radio. That was unexpected.
Yeah, totally. All right, let's get to a sync of the week. The sync of the week. We should probably do some imaging there.
Probably.
Or something. So what's your sync of the week, Stu?
Okay, so I think I don't know if I've mentioned it recently, but Katie and I are watching this show called Invasion.
Ooh.
It's a Apple TV show, and we were, I don't want to give too much away regarding this, but Space Oddity by David Bowie in the last episode of season 1 of Invasion.
Space Oddity.
Yes.
David Bowie.
It was the perfect payoff piece for a very emotional scene. And the way it was done was, and it actually ended up showing up again in another montage that was really, really nice. But that, I guess, went, oh, I love that so much. Because, you know, if you're not a Bowie fan, you're not going to get it. You know, I mean, everybody's heard that fucking song, but you know, it has to do with more to do with David Bowie than it does to do with the song. And well, I guess it does have to do with the song 'cause it's about aliens. You know what I mean? It's like, it was just a really nice,
you gave it away. It's about aliens.
It's obvious. It's in the. It's called Invasion. If you read the. Okay, you can bleep all that out. I just loved the payoff on that one piece. It was just not what I expected in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you think David Bowie really was an alien?
I think we all are.
Hey.
Shots fired.
That's another podcast entirely. We're all from Pleiades. Well, I'm a star child.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We're all made of stardust.
I do think that there is a good working theory that the world has considerably become worse. And by the way, when I say the world, I mean Thailand. I mean Bangalore. I mean Russia. I mean Tokyo. I mean
everyone.
Boise, Idaho.
Boise.
Every place has gotten worse since David Bowie left this earth.
Ooh, do you think he was holding it all together?
I think that he may have had an energetic pull that has a sort of a creative soul to it that spreads. And the fact that when you hear that music, it sort of feeds back into him and then back into us.
Yeah.
Not as like a Jesus figure, but I do think that there are some cultural people like that their being on Earth, whether they're creating now or not, connects to all of that energy from what they did, especially people that did stuff in the 60s, 70s, 80s. Like there's a Paul McCartney energy in the world still.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that will be sad when that leaves.
Yeah.
And hopefully all of us have a little bit of that to share.
Yeah. I think Prince had that too.
I think that it's one of the weird things about music, I think, that like because music can be a part of so many people's lives globally, it's a different kind of art form that way.
Yeah.
That it can renew energy.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really...
Whoa, man.
Whoa, man.
Let's start talking about stones and stuff, man.
I've got a crystal guy, but let's talk about that another time.
That's right. When's the next full moon? Okay, never mind.
It's aligned with my cycle.
All right, my sync of the week. I'm rewatching. I like that spy shit.
Yeah.
You know that? I like that spy shit. And so I was trying to watch Homeland.
Yeah.
And God bless Claire Danes. She's just too good at playing a bipolar. It reminds me of my ex, and I cannot watch it anymore. I love Mandy Patinkin, but like I can't watch someone fall apart on screen like that. I'm not down. I'm not here for that.
Yeah.
I'm here for the secret codes and the drops and, the back and forth. So anyway, I found another one that I can rewatch, and it is The American.
Oh, it's excellent.
I've never seen it.
Excellent.
I completely missed it. Carrie Russell spent a little time at Highlands Ranch. She went to high school here, I believe.
Yep, that's right.
And so it's kind of a home girl. Anyway, I know a bunch of people have seen it. It's on Hulu, and I'm watching it now. I think I'm in the second season.
Brad.
I'm in the second season
Excellent.
right now. But at the end of the first season, just an excellent pull. And it was Peter Gabriel's Games Without Frontiers.
Ooh.
Which is a great... So if you don't know the show, it takes place in like the late 70s, early 80s in the beginning. And so it's got a lot of great music placements. But that was a really good one because of the war overtones and sort of the secrecy overtones. It's kind of a freaky song.
Yeah.
And that whistle makes me cringe. I hate whistling. But there's a line. You can draw a line from that whistle to Winds of Change, the Scorpions.
Yeah.
And that somehow whistles have to do with sort of old-timey soldiers.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Walking through the fields, whistling. And it's, by the way, the music supervisors on that were Amanda Krieg Thompson and, of course, the GOAT, PJ Bloom. One of the GOATs. Well, I hate doing that. You can't say the GOAT. PJ Bloom was fucking awesome. I don't even know if he's still doing music supervision, but yeah, it was a really good pull. I think they've ended up using Peter Gabriel later on, but that is my sync of the week.
Excellent. 2 solid choices, I believe.
See. Hey, thanks for listening. Make sure to share us with your music-curious friends. Follow us anywhere at 2ShotsMusicPod. Or go ahead and email us, 2ShotsMusicPod@gmail.com. We will check you out next time. Thank you so much.